Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm here with my tribe, Naja. Naja, welcome. Welcome to the Blue Couch with Storm.
Thank you for having me, Storm.
Thank you so much for coming.
All right.
Yeah. So, little backstory. Naja and I met each other maybe this summer will be a year. And we all go to Mama and Baba. Met Mama first. She's a Reiki master and she's transitioned us. You're Reiki 3 now?
Reiki 1 and 2.
Reiki 1 and 2.
Okay. Holy Fire Reiki.
Okay.
Holy Fire 1 and 2, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's how we met through one of the Reiki shares at Mama's house. So anyway, I just want Naja to go ahead and introduce herself because I know some of you all may need to jump off this video real quick and go do something, but I just want you all to be able to get in touch with Naja. So let's do all the important business stuff up
Contact
front.
information.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead and let them have it.
I'll go ahead and give you that. You can see me on Instagram at Zen614. That's ZEN614. If you have any questions about what I do, and I'll go ahead and tell you about that in a second. It's najawhite84@gmail.com. And email me or contact me on Instagram. We can go from there, and then we'll talk about getting into my lovely space, which I have called the Reiki Room.
And then just one thing, do you actually know your Cash App? Because some people are moved by the spirit to just do donations during the show. So
yes.
Can you give people your Cash App?
It's hashtag ZEN614. And I think I have Zelle, and that's my email address, and also Venmo, Naja White. So that's it right there.
Okay, great.
NAJAHWHITE and ZEN614 for any of those.
Okay, great. All right, so for any of you all who have to jump off right away, if you all will go ahead and if you're blessed with anything from what Naja is saying or anything in this video, if you want to help support any of us, give donations, then go ahead and get that out the way. Now we can get to the spiritual part.
Indeed.
So, Naja, again, welcome to the Blue Couch.
Thank you.
And what I really...
I love blue.
Yes, the throat chakra. What I really wanted people to get an idea of is how are spiritual people in this community functioning, and like what brought you. I know it's a long story for a lot of us, a long journey, but if any part of your story that you can give to people who are just basically, the audience is just basically people who are ready to take the spiritual journey. They're getting these messages, they're having dreams, they're getting the deja vus, all these different kind of things are happening, and they may even feel like some depression or different things like that. And maybe coming in contact with different spiritual messages from years ago that they're now remembering now.
Right.
And so I basically look at it as people are in the maternity ward and they're ready to give birth. And so from that point, just about your journey, how did you know that you were supposed to start this journey, and then some of the rough spots that you hit? Because I think there's a misconception about everything's just so good in this life. It's like, oh, once I'm spiritual now, and then we know it doesn't work like that. So
right.
Kind of want to just help people along who are ready to take this journey.
Okay. Really, it started with me being in such in a bad state of depression to where I was like, I can't do this, and there's always going to be one person or one inkling of something that'll just get you a little push to you to start to discover yourself and to discover that there's something better out there than what you're feeling for yourself in life, which would be depression or suicidal thoughts or just anger all the time or self-hatred, things like that. And so there was one point, a friend of mine told me, go to this, there's this group, and we're going to have a little group here, and the subject is going to be you first, yourself first. And I was like, you know what, forget this, I'm going to do it, because I was thinking about everybody else first to the point where I was going to put myself out, so I was like, you know what, everybody else needs stuff more than I do. I don't need anything. I don't need these troubles. I just need to be not here. So I was like, you know what? Let me put myself first for once. And it felt selfish, but I was like, let me just do it. So I went to that, and things just led into fruition. I started believing that maybe I should put myself first. Maybe I should do things for myself. So I went and I started working, and I was in the house for like 3 years with like kids, and I was just postpartum depression, all of that stuff was just happening. So I finally got a job, and I decided to get myself an appointment at a chiropractor, and that led me to getting a Reiki done. Not even knowing I was getting a Reiki done, but the massage was so exhilarating, it was so inspiring that there was a need for it that I didn't know I needed. And what's funny is that's why I brought this right here.
And what is that?
This is, I would say, this is my talisman. These are my first set of stones that I received. These are my first assigned stones. I went to a little house party one time, and this guy, he just gave stones to everyone.
Oh, wow.
And
beautiful.
He randomly gave me a moonstone. And I was like, okay, interesting. Looked it up, and it said something about, being a goddess powers, and a moonstone. I was like, wonderful, rainbow moonstone. My Reiki appointment that I got, my Reiki master assigned me a carnelian and a tiger's eye because I was so detached from anything spirit. I was just so detached, and I had to be grounded. And my root and sacral chakras were screaming. It was just bad. I had 3 kids in 3 years, and suffering from postpartum depression, suffering from just feeling the burdens of motherhood more so than the joys. And I had to ground myself, and I didn't know how. And she gave me these stones.
Wow.
And it was so bad that I wore them. I had to wear them I just wore them in my pants. And I released, and I let go, and things happened so quickly. And I went through purging. I went through some sickness. And these were things that I was like, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? But this was me knowing that I wanted to be free of my burden. I wanted to be free of pain. And just like birth, you go through some kind of pain to release everything. And long story short, come June, it was around June. Come June, I go back for my last Reiki appointment, and I hear the words, "You're open. I'm so proud of you." It's like, wow. What? And at that point, I was getting ready for a festival. I was selling food at a festival. It was a beautiful summer. I was just happy. I was in business. I made money. I had relationships that were going wonderful. They were all coinciding. I had relationships with my children, husband, ex-husband, whatever. I just, everything was going well. And everything is still going well, regardless of what I have been through since then. Things change, things evolve. And at this point in my life, this is a year later, that, even though things were going right in certain aspects, there were things that weren't going right, and other things I had to get rid of. But life is full of different dimensions and different pieces. So not everything is going to be exactly right. You got this part right, now it's time to get this part right. So this part is now me on my spiritual journey as being a healer.
Did you know that when you started your journey that healing was like, did you have that like dreams and different experiences when you were younger that led you to know that you were going to be a healer, or something spiritual was happening to you, or how did you know? No, I never knew as a child that anything spiritual could happen to me, but I was surrounded by spiritual experiences, spiritual people that I just took wrongly. Like, I was raised Sufi Muslim. So Sufism is one of these like deep meditations, and Sufism is a whole different thing from being Muslim. But I was Muslim and I was Sufi, so I was raised in that environment to where, as a child, it was just kind of like forced on me, do this, do that. So I didn't pay attention to the spirituality of Sufism. But then on the other hand, my grandma, I thought she was just magical. I thought she used to have this magic man over, and he used to bring crystals and instruments and pendulums and say, oh, we would lose something in the house, and he would say, it's in this room, and we would go search my grandma's house. My grandma had a big house. We'd go search the house, and I was like, who is this weird guy? And I always saw my grandma's case of rocks, didn't know what that was. So, and she always talked to us. She always said these words to us, and it's funny how, like, people say, oh, my grandma always said, but yeah, your grandma always said when you were younger, but were you actually listening to your grandma, or she just always said it? And so now, as an adult, I listen to my grandmother after she's passed away already. Right, but I listen to grandma, and I hear when she used to tell me divine order,
And she used to tell me, call the prayer room. I used to think it was just about Jesus. No, it was really universal.
Mm-hmm.
It's very universal. Because me being Muslim, I was like, oh, grandma's trying to preach me Jesus. But I didn't really think that. Like, she said, divine order, everything goes how it's supposed to. Let there be peace on earth. And she used to say all of that. And now, as an adult, and with better understanding of my life and seeing how bad my life can get and how good my life can actually be,
mm-hmm.
Just taking all of that in. So it's really just me being in that environment is what got me to where I was. And now after my grandma passed, I went back to her house, and that big case of stones or big case of rocks was stones, all power. And she told me, and I stood there, and she told me, take these stones and give some to your family, give some to the family. I distributed all of my grandmother's
wow, that's powerful.
Mm-hmm, throughout the family, and I blessed them. I put Reiki on them, and it was all good. Oh, my Reiki master, by the way, Marilyn. She's the one who gave me my Reiki certification, and it will be a year in April.
Oh wow! Yeah. A year for 1 and 2.
A year for 1 and 2 in April.
How did you know that you like? So were you going through your own spiritual experiences, and then, I mean, how did you even know to become a Reiki master or even start that path? Because you had Reiki done,
right?
But how did that even come about for you to even want to be that and now do that?
Well,
did you have a dream? Did you have an astral travel?
I had some bad
prophesy over you.
No, yes, actually, let me tell you this. Now when you said somebody prophesied over me.
Now we're getting to the story. Come on, tell it.
Somebody did prophesy over me. One thing is, I know my sister, she was very, very spiritual. And she always told me, oh, all you got to do is meditate. All you got to do is meditate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I can't meditate. I can't. And so, I want to give kudos to my sister because she's also, like, wonderful. She came to my house one time and told me about chi. And she felt something in my knee. It was like, oh my God, Naja, your knee's so bad. I'm like, what is she doing?
Your knees or knee?
My knee. I had something wrong with my knee. I had bumped my knee. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, what are you talking about? How do you know that? She talked about chi. She talked about qi gong. And I'm like, whatever. So with Marilyn, she was giving me Reiki. And I remember it was times where I would get sick and I'd be like, oh my God, I need to go to Marilyn. And I would go to her, but then there were times where I had spots where I couldn't go to her because I didn't have any money. I'm like, brother, I can't get no money. And Marilyn one time was like, oh, it's okay, honey. She's like, you can do Reiki for yourself. I'm like, really? I can do Reiki on myself? Like, sure. I was like, I don't want to. I want to come to you to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. But what was the weirdest thing, she texted me one time, and it was just a few weeks out, and I just got my tax refund.
Mm-hmm.
I had a little money in my pocket. And she was like, I'm teaching a Reiki class. You should come. And I'm thinking, like, she's invited me over maybe once before. Because, I went to her to get a Reiki session at her most recent place. And so I came and joined her, and that was my first time just chilling with her. And so the next time she invited me, she's like, yeah, I'm doing a Reiki class. It's going to be this much money. You should come. And
now, she was at the chiropractor. Is that how you met her, at the chiropractor? I
met her at the chiropractor. Yeah, she was my Reiki at the chiropractor. One who assigned me these stones.
Yeah.
She assigned me my first stone.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, oh my God. Okay, yeah. So, like, I was like, whatever, I guess I'll do it. I got money in my pocket, and I'm going to do it. Actually didn't have a whole bunch because I was at the last of my last.
Mm-hmm. That's when it always happens.
When it always happens. I'm like, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this.
It's like that.
I said, let me see what this is like. And after that, once I found out that I have a skill, because
you could really feel it while you were going through class.
While I was doing the class, I was able to feel this energy. Sometimes there'll be times where I was doing something and I didn't feel anything. She'd be like, you're on fire. And I'm like, really? Because I don't feel fire. Right?
Yeah.
But when I started noticing that I was just feeling high without smoking anything. And I was like, wait a minute. I hadn't smoked since this morning. Why am I still feeling like this? And I felt myself cuddled up in a corner somewhere, just smiling like a Cheshire cat, And I was like, wow, this energy is really here. This energy is really here. And then I decided to test it on somebody. It's like, hey, and she gave me a bath salt after that Reiki certification. And so I was like, I want to use this bath salt, but I don't want to do it at my house. Because I was in a space where I was really trying to get out of a confined kind of space. I was in a very stuck place.
Yeah.
And I know they say you can make your environment what it is and, do better for your environment. But I needed to, I was outgrowing that environment. So I needed a good tub. I had a friend of mine who was like, cool, I'll get you a room. You can get a good tub. And you can have a spiritual bath. And I set that thing up.
Wow.
And so he let me have that in peace. And then after that, he was my first Reiki session. And I had no idea that I could do what I could do. I was able to tell him things. And I thought I was just talking to him from what he told me. But then I started talking to him about things that he didn't tell me.
Right.
And I was like, I don't know how I knew that. But it just came. And after that, I'm not going to take credit. But he stopped going to chemotherapy and he hasn't been back since. And he's been fine.
Oh, wow. Maybe we can get his testimony one day.
I have many testimonies.
That's powerful.
But that's just, I sometimes think that like Spirit's telling me that that's why he stopped going. And that was awesome. And so ever since then, I was like, wow, I have a skill. All my life, I've grown up like, I don't have a skill of my own. I don't sing. I can cook sometimes, but I'm not a chef. I'll cook and sell food, but I'm not a chef. I don't like babysitting. I just like, I don't have this one skill. I don't have like the thing. I don't do hair. I don't braid. I'm like, there's people that make money off of just doing what they know how to do.
Yeah. That's so true.
When that power of Reiki came to me and I was like, all I have to do is go to somebody and do this and be able to possibly make a living off of it, be able to heal people, be able to do something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to be a doctor, but I never went to medical school, and now I'm able to heal.
That's powerful. Wow, that is beautiful. Thank you, Naja.
Yes, thank you for letting me blare off.
Well, you really didn't, because it's only 17 minutes.
Yay, that's wonderful.
But no, I think like the reason why I wanted to do the Blue Couch series was just because I just see so many leaders in the spiritual community, and when you listen to them and different things like that, of course they're doing instruction and things like that they're supposed to. However, it's such a chasm between the spiritual journey being all the way over here where they are and then over here where you're just starting out, and so all that in between. So I wanted to really talk to people in the in between, because that's really what type of person that I am. No matter what, it's just like I'm like more transparent, which you saw. It's like, I'm grateful to you that you don't get as offended by me as I work on myself, but I'm just like straight, no chaser. I got my flaws. I could do Reiki on you this second and curse you the next second, or be upset about something or whatever. And I'm just a human being, and it's just like I got bills to pay, I got stuff happening, I got family stuff happening, and all that. And then it's just like I'm not one of these people that just sit up in a robe or anything like that. And and I'm just sitting at this arrived place. It's like you get to see all my flaws. And some people, that's a turn off, because they want the spiritual person to be like this person who's just
perfect.
And my thing is like I've never been that. I mean, I have my bachelor's in psychology. I worked as a counselor, drug and alcohol rehab counselor. I'm a certified personal trainer, life coach. I'm like all of these things, and I've been consistent in everything where the transparency is there. And I've noticed like sometimes people want to retain me and sometimes they don't. Sometimes, whenever I start getting the feeling that a person is trying to put me on some kind of pedestal or make it seem like I'm this perfect person or whatever, it's like, no, back away from me, go away. I don't want to be around you, because it's just like, I'm not that that person. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. And that is a lot. And I feel like people just see glimpses of our leaders and stuff like that, and they don't see them at home with their families, they don't see them with their loved ones, they don't see them on their job, they don't see them in traffic and all these other kind of things. So for one split second, it's okay, you do look like perfection. When I'm in my Reiki session, I look like perfection. When I'm personal training, when I'm in these 1 hour blocks of time, yeah, but what happens to the other 23 hours? Yes. And the other 23 hours are what's real. And so I just wanted people who find this channel, who are ready to be birthed and come awake and ready to start their journey, to know that there's no perfection in it, and that each of our journeys are going to be different, and that as you set yourself up with tribe, you start hearing people's stories and different things like that, and the connection and the struggle, like we were just talking outside. Yeah. And connection that happens. Oh, definitely. That's important too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the reflection. Yeah, it seems like we're drawn around each other when we're going through similar things. Yes. And then we start talking about stuff, and it's like, oh, girl, I'm going through that too. And you can never have that if you don't have the transparencies. And like with respect to our leaders, like Marilyn and Baba and Sheikh Sufi and others, I don't expect them to divulge their personal business and different things like that. Mm-hmm. That's not what they're here for. However, that's what I'm here for. That's been consistent across all of my life. I used to get in trouble when I was a counselor, don't be so transparent with people. And I'm just like, it's hard not to, because it's like, I'm flawed and I still get access to the spirit. Mm-hmm. I'm flawed and I still get access to this gift. I'm flawed and I still get access to all the goodness that my ancestors said for me to have. So then it must be a journey instead of a destination that I got to work on, do, and then I get what the spirit says I can have. No, you don't get it like that, because even in me embracing my gift and embracing things like that, I still have my flaws. It's just that I'm more sensitive as spirit guides me into working on myself. And sometimes, Marilyn's going to come on the show. She'll have her interview, and I've gotten a few really good spiritual spankings from Marilyn.
Yeah, we all have. And that's been a good thing, because those lessons really helped us get to where we are now. And me being that one, like, it helped me a lot. And at the same time, sometimes we teach Marilyn lessons.
Oh, definitely.
And it all goes full circle, and we're all here for each other regardless of what it is. Definitely. What it is, what it isn't, and I love that. And I love that she allows us the space to teach her lessons as well as learning from her.
Yeah, she's good with that too. Yeah. And that's what I wanted people to know when they're waking up late in the middle of the night, or something has happened and they stumble across this video, is like, one, to not think that you're crazy, two, that there's other people out here. There's other people out here going through, similar things. And if it's not the same, it's similar, because we all get that message to wake up, and we all look at our lives and be like, oh, I can't afford to wake up because it's going to trash this or mess this up or mess that up. We all have to come to that moment where you pick your spirit over your human existence. And not any time have you set up your physical life the way spirit would want you to set it up. So of course everything's going to come tumbling down. Mm-hmm. However, that's how you build trust with your spirit, because as your spirit puts things back right and makes these connections and different things like that with people, places, and things that you didn't think would happen. Yes. And that's when you start building yourself and you start realizing who you are, and that's the journey. And to just stay with it.
Yep. And one thing I'd like to mention is with that being, encountering the right people, places, and things, that is when you are in allowance of the universe taking you where you need to go. Mm-hmm. Just remember that you caught this video for a reason.
Yes, you did.
And you're just like, wow, what is this doing? So this is going to open you up to just say, okay, let me not look forward, and let me just look at what's right here in front of me, and look at what comes next, and what comes next. and you're always in this now. And as long as you're in the now and you're in receiving mode of anything good and positive, everything's just gonna flow how it's supposed to, even when it's bad, because that bad is just helping you make that right or left turn.
Exactly.
It's like a blockage. It's like, okay, I'm here now. You got to turn, and you make a left or right turn, and you go to the next one and the next one, and those are all going to lead you to where you want to be. But you get to choose which path it is going to take you there.
Yes, and I think that that's a big misconception too. That everything's going to be good once you get on your path, and it's just been within the last few weeks or so. That I started really understanding what my path meant, and that it's not about jumping from here to here when something bad or hard happens on my path. It's about embracing that this hard, challenging, negative, what I perceive as negative thing is my path. And once I accept that this is my path, now I can listen to Spirit tell me how to navigate and what to do. Because the last month or so, since the end of November, I've had so many things happen, which I'll talk about later. However, the wrong person was trying to do something. I was trying to get help for several situations. Someone would always come to me that was trying to rip me off. And in ripping me off and me trying to fix the rip off would bring up somebody else who would fix the situation for less money. It kept on happening like that. And my boyfriend and I are, well, he's not a new homeowner. I'm a new homeowner. And he bought this beautiful home for me. And, you know, of course, I have my meditation room set up and then the private Reiki room set up. And so, of course, with home ownership comes all these different things or whatever. And so in trying to find somebody to help me out with my house, you know, I'm using all my spiritual stuff and things like that. And I'm just like, okay, I got to handle this like my boyfriend's out of town. You know, I'm strong. I can do this. And person after person would just be coming and rip me off. And Spirit just spoke to me and said, don't worry about it. It's okay. And every single time, like I said, I mean, the person who was supposed to fix the roof, fix the electricity. The person,
shop.
Yeah, it's just, but they didn't fix the roof.
Yeah.
And then the person who came to fix the heater didn't fix the heater. They pointed out the problem with the electricity.
Oh, wow.
And the insurance company wouldn't pay for the heater. It paid for the electricity. So that's what I'm trying to say. Is like, it doesn't come in a nice, cute, tied up bow or way. You know, it's reasons why Spirit allows. If Spirit knows that a person's going to take advantage of you, but they have information, fixing the electrical could have been thousands of dollars. It cost me $100. So I could have got an electrician over here to fix it, thousands of dollars, when that's what they're paid to do, of course. But the roofer that day brought an electrician with him, and he says, oh, well, let me just take a look at it.
And that was it.
$100.
That was it.
And that wound up fixing the heat.
You see that?
How did the electrician? So in that point, I started seeing what Spirit was saying. Spirit's like, instead of paying attention to what you think is wrong, oh, I wrecked my car, oh, I lost my car, oh, I lost my job, oh, I lost $100, or any of the other things bad. I'm not saying that those things aren't bad and hard. The Spirit is trying to tell you that even in those difficult situations, it's there for you. And if you listen, if you stop and take a minute and listen, it will help you. Now, yeah, I went 2 weeks without any heat and used the heaters. My front room was flooded for about 2 weeks. I mean, my car broke down at the same time. Yeah, everything happened.
But you ain't call me though.
Everything. Because Spirit has spoken to me and said that a bunch of stuff is going to happen. However, it's not going to be what it seems. And so that's what I wanted to bring to the Blue Couch series, because during that time period also, I also set up the blue couches, I set up the brown curtain, I set up the Reiki room, I set up the meditation room, I set up everything. And so it's like every time I would go back to Spirit and say, hey, this has happened, Spirit's like, please buy your couches, please buy your curtain, please do this. I'm like, don't I need to save the money for this? Don't I need to do this for this? you know. And then as soon as I got the whole Reiki room set up, guess what? It flooded. So I had to move everything out of there. And I had just advertised about the Reiki room.
Wow.
So it's like, why did that happen?
Thinking, what spirit? Why'd you tell me to buy all this stuff?
Yeah.
And then you did this.
Yeah, exactly. However, I didn't have this set up. I just had that set up. So what that room flooding forced me to do was, oh, well, I can't use that room. Now I got to set this up because all this was sitting in boxes.
See what it make you do.
Yeah, so I may be all over the place with it, but anyone who's listening to it, the pattern that you expect to have in the spiritual level isn't going to happen for you. That's just not how it works. It's not perfection. It's not anything like that. However, if you stick to your path, you stick to your journey, and then just see what's there.
Understand that it is your journey.
It grows you and it turns you and it shows you who you're supposed to really be. Just like you saw about being a healer and a Reiki master. It shows you who you're really supposed to be because you have why are they making all that noise on our video? But you have an idea of yourself. You have an idea of yourself.
Right.
That only exists in your unhappiness with what's going on with your life. So once you step into your spiritual self, now your spiritual self has to show you who you are without all of the other things. And so for that, you got to shake all that stuff off of you. And the only way you can get that stuff off of you is to go through different things that basically starts wiping that stuff off of you, chipping it off. Yeah. And so you just have to really just stay with it. Really just stay with it.
Yeah, stick with it and just keep your cool. One thing I'm learning, like she said, the middle stages. I'm learning to not let my emotions and my temper get in the way of what spirit is trying to tell me.
Mm-hmm. And then if you do, just forgive yourself.
Yeah.
Just forgive yourself. Okay, I missed it. I should have gone left, right.
Acknowledge and forgive.
Bank that U-turn and forgive yourself and go the way that you're supposed to go. Because even that is part of your lesson. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm finding too, is like even my missteps are part of my not lessons, experiences. Because lesson means like a right or wrong or good or bad. I'm having these experiences for a reason. And the parts of me that come out, whether it's my temper or different things like that, that comes out to show me who I really am. It's like, what's coming up when I'm angry? Mm-hmm. Fear. For me, it's fear. I can't pay this bill. I can't do this. So then I get angry. So then I pop off and whatever and stuff like that. And then spirit calls me back to myself. And it's just like, you're a Reiki master. How are you telling people that they can face whatever they're going through and you're popping off at people? Mm-hmm. I'm like, you know what? You're right. And so then spirit's like, well, you didn't do your meditation today. Or you didn't do your yoga. Or you didn't take time out for yourself. Or you just didn't spend time with your loved ones and take a break from seeing so many clients. So that's why your tolerance level and stuff like that is low. And that's why fear can come up in there. Because really, it's just like, okay, fear, you're right. I am afraid. I am scared. I don't know what's going to